Welcome to ParaTruth. Welcome, everybody, to ParaTruth Reborn. My name is Eric.
And I'm Justin.
And I am glad to be here with you all again. It's been a wild summer.
So much. I've missed you a lot.
I've missed you, too. I've missed the show. I've missed all of it, man. I'm glad to be here today, though, and hopefully this will, it'll be more consistent these coming weeks. But, hey, I'm here, and we got a show to talk about and enjoy, so... sorry. Thanks. So I got a question for everybody. What if the dolls on your shelf weren't just collectibles, but vessels echoing ancient spirits? See, on this episode today, we will discuss that very thing as we explore Mesopotamian entities and their possible connection to the intriguing Labubu dolls.
Yep. And, we'll get into what the Mesopotamian entities are, who they were, why they still matter today, and how it kind of connects to the dolls and other popular dolls throughout modern history.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, Mesopotamia is often referred to as the cradle of civilization because it was the site of some of humanity's earliest and most influential innovations, including the development of agriculture, complex city-states, writing systems, and early empires. Located in the fertile land between the Tigris and Euphrates River, modern-day Iraq, it fostered the growth of powerful civilizations like the Sumerians. Something else that's interesting about the Tigris and Euphrates River, there's a third river which is not mentioned here and is not released, or I think it's third or fourth river, but the Garden of Eden also happened to exist in that particular area, according to the scriptures.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just find that very interesting since we see it both scripturally, but we also see it archaeologically as significant. Now, Mesopotamian mythology featured a complex supernatural hierarchy of gods, malevolent demons, and powerful protective spirits, often with hybrid animal-human forms. Now, while gods like Enki could offer wisdom and aid, but then also demons such as Lamashtu, who caused harm, particularly to women and children. Protective spirits and artifacts like the fearsome demon Pazuzu or monumental Lamasu statues, were used to ward off evil by harnessing or intimidating malign forces through rituals and amulets, reflecting a belief that fighting fire with fire could offer protection. And we kind of see that same thing also still in modern days, modern times with the rituals and the amulets, but also because it's right around the corner, let's consider the jack-o'-lantern that many people around the world use on Halloween. There are faces carved in them, often scary faces, in order to ward off demonic or evil spirits that are looking to terrorize families. So, in a sense, fighting fire with fire, minus that the jack-o'-lanterns aren't necessarily embodied by or endowed by an actual spirit.
Right. Well, and I mean, people still use the evil eye amulet.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really big one.
Yeah.
Now, there are a number of different demons that I've already talked about, but I'm going to go a little deeper into a few of these. The first one is Pazuzu. He's a powerful demon of the wind. Now, Pazuzu had a frightening hybrid form with a lion's head, eagle's claws, and wings. Though a threat, his terrifying nature was harnessed to protect against other evil spirits, most notably the demoness Lamashtu, and was used in amulets, statuettes, and rituals. Now, Lamassu, another particular spirit of Mesopotamia, these were protective spirits in particular, which were depicted as monumental winged bulls or lions with human heads guarding cities and palaces.
Think the Sphinx, but
100%.
a little bit different. Yep.
Yep. Um, there were also benevolent hybrids. Some spirits with hybrid human animal features were considered benevolent guardians, protecting state and king. Then, of course, we have Lamashtu, which we just mentioned earlier, a demoness. She's a female demon known for preying on pregnant women and newborns. Lamashtu was a common subject for protective amulets featuring Pazuzu. Then we had the Gala demons. Now, these were malevolent spirits of the underworld who snatched humans and dragged them into the netherworld, right?
Which is a common trope throughout religions.
100%. And then, of course, we have Ardat Lily and Lilu. These are female and male spirits who, as restless ghosts, sought to harm the living.
Now, one thing I did want to cover, and I didn't put it in the notes, is the word demon here is translated from the Greek word daemon, which literally just meant spirit. It had no malevolent or benevolent attachments to it in the Greek translation.
Now, as we were talking about earlier, there are protection against the more benevolent entities that people have used throughout the ages, but in particular within Mesopotamia as well. Now, some of these protections included amulets, sometimes, as already stated, depicting Pazuzu to protect against other malevolent spirits. There were also rituals and incantations. And of course, there were a figurative power. Basically, Mesopotamians believed that by capturing the likeness of a demon in miniature form, they could harness its power against it. And this is something that we also kind of see in some of the lesser key of Solomon writings that Aleister Crowley had helped kind of, fix up. And we see a lot of very similarities in the images of the demons that are depicted within the lesser key of Solomon. We also know that many demons, based on some of these descriptions, and not just demons, also angelic beings, kind of fit this mold of part human, part animal, being a mixed match of a number of different things. And we see it throughout various faiths and religions throughout the world.
Now, something that I had never heard of Labubu dolls before this past year, actually. But Labubu dolls were actually created by a Hong Kong-born artist named Casing Ling in 2015 as part of his illustrated book series, The Monsters. And the characters were actually inspired by Nordic folklore, not Japanese or Chinese, and are described as mischievous but kind-hearted. The dolls are a collaboration between Casing Ling and the toy company Pop Mart, which began producing them in 2019. People think Labubus are cute because of the unique creepy cute aesthetic, and we'll get into why humans are attracted to this creepy cute, because I think, Eric, you and I are both attracted to the creepy cute aesthetic.
I'm not thing, right? A weird thing.
I'm not attracted to the Labubu dolls. As a matter of fact, I don't care for them at all, to be honest.
I've got friends who have the Labubu dolls, and I'll admit that I have been kind of attracted to them. I think they're fun little creatures.
Okay.
But they remind me kind of the what do you call them, the critters?
Oh yeah,
the from the movie.
Yeah, I have two dolls that were created by somebody at a Comic-Con, and they're the critter dolls, not Labubu dolls.
Yeah, right. But they remind me very similar in a way. Only the critter dolls are much creepier because there's no cuteness to them.
There's no, not at all. But these dolls combine whimsical, cuddly features with a mischievous or devilish grin, making them stand out in a niche sweet spot that appeals to individuality and a desire to express a unique personal style. And you see this throughout pop culture, even when we were growing up. And again, we'll get into some of the other stuff that was kind of inspired by Japanese folklore or the trickster demons and stuff like that.
Right.
Their collectability, the excitement of the hunt for rare or limited edition blind box figures. You see that even in, Funko Pops and stuff like that today. And their viral presence on platforms like TikTok also contribute to their widespread appeal. And I must be on the wrong side of TikTok because I have yet to see anybody who is trying to popularize Labubu dolls.
Yeah, I've not seen them, but yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen them around, mostly because I've been looking them up because my friend, she's been sending me photos of all the ones that she gets. So I've checked them out. I want to see what kind of, they're very customizable, and you have all these special, like you said, limited edition pieces that can range anywhere from, a few bucks to several thousand, which is crazy, but also cool. I mean, as a collector, I mean, you guys, anyone who watches the YouTube channel, you can see my background. I obviously collect a number of things, but it's definitely, like, I know the Boo dolls.
It's a hard word.
It is. Are extremely popular, especially among the younger generations. And I wouldn't say that they're growing, in stature in terms of what they are, but I think they are going to continue getting bigger, much like Pokemon did. I think there's going to be TV shows probably that come off of these type of things as well. But yeah, very collectible.
Yeah. Now these things, I'm going to call them things, became popular due to a mix of different celebrity endorsements, one of which is the K-pop star Lisa from Blackpink. Don't know who that is. I'm not a K-pop person. The viral nature of social media, of course, and the collectible blind box format that creates scarcity and the excitement of the hunt for rare characters. Again, we see this throughout any collectible things. Its unique, mischievous aesthetic and blurring of the lines between toy and fashion also contribute to its appeal, creating a sense of exclusivity and luxury status within the art toy markets. Now, the Labubu dolls feature wide eyes, sharp teeth, animal-like fur, and again, that mischievous grin. You mentioned critters.
Yep.
The one thing that these things remind me of is I'm always lose the title of the book, but Where the Wild Things.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of too.
Yeah. And I had mentioned that to my wife Shelly, and she's like, the most horrible, depressing movie in the world. And I'm like, I don't think I ever saw it. And she's like, yeah, we watched it together. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, we fell asleep to it. And I'm trying to remember the books too, and I'm like, they were kind of depressing, but
yes, I was gonna say yes, I watched the movie, I mean, years ago now, but yeah, I do recall it being depressing as well. And I don't remember the books themselves. I remember fragments, of the pages that I, from the artwork and whatnot, but it is on my list to add it to the library though, just because it's nostalgic
from our childhood. Yeah. Now, humans are drawn to creepy but cute aesthetics because of the interplay between our evolved responses to baby-like features, which trigger caregiving instincts, a lot of times in women, but in men too, and the thrill of experiencing a benign risk by safely engaging with a scary or taboo elements. This combination activates the brain's pleasure and reward systems, again, because you're hunting for that specific one, creating a unique emotional experience that can be both pleasurable and stimulating. The appeal of Creepy Cute also allows for complex emotional exploration and artistic expression, leading to its popularity in art and pop culture.
Which, I mean, if you follow some of the Instagram pages that I follow, or even just some of the things I click on, I get a lot of the creepy cute like paintings and artwork that pop up, especially when it's like some sort of, you know, distorted looking cat with a giant grin and some sort of like oh, what do they call them? Like a mare, like a nightmare, like not nightmare, but nightmare, the horse. That people tend to do artistic renderings of. But yeah, that is a very like creepy cute is definitely on the rise. It's it's not up and coming. It's here and it's going to continue to grow. I think there's just it's like with anything in pop culture. There's moments within time where we have these influx of new uh artistic ideas that everybody takes a hold of. Someone finds interest and that expands, and then we have people who see that there are people interested, so then they start to make their own, and we have this big blow up. Number of people copying each other, trying to do things similar to cash in, quote unquote, and eventually we'll probably see it all die out again. I mean, it might be a long while. I would thought Pokemon was long gone, but it's not, apparently.
No, it's still around. Something that comes to my mind when you say creepy cute is from when I was younger. I don't know if they were still as popular when you were born, but the Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I never knew that there was a movie until in the past several years. And I was like, I've looked at the trailer and I'm like, this is horrible, but I gotta watch it just because, again, nostalgia. Right. I grew up on the cards, but you can't find it streaming anywhere. So I'm hoping it gets on one of the streaming platforms soon.
Yeah, for sure. I had one myself that I was going to share too, but I've already forgot it because you were talking and I was paying attention.
It'll come to you.
It'll come to me. It'll pop up in the middle of me saying something else, and then I'll grab a trail real fast. But yeah, there's definitely been quite a few creepy cute things over the years. One of my favorites, which a lot of people probably agree with, and maybe a lot of people don't, but jumping spiders. They're creepy, but they're adorable. I can't explain it. It's actually the only spider I'm willing to pick up.
I was gonna say you're also scared of spiders.
I'm scared.
That adds to the creepy but cute.
And I'm not scared of spiders because of how they look. It's more so like I don't know, what type of venom they have because I'm not good at noting what kind of spiders they are. Minus wolf spiders, which there are a lot in my area. Jumping spiders who always find their way in my house, at least 2 a week, always from the same row. So I'm always catching them and like, come on, little dude. It's it's one of those things where it's like when if they're small and I'm carrying them and they get out, I just see this little thing hop 20 feet in the air. I'm like, no, where'd you go? And he's gone. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, creepy cute spiders, jumping spiders in particular. Now, back to the Labubu. And the reason we bring up the Labubu dolls is that over the last several weeks, and dare I say even months potentially, there have been posts and videos circulating on social media claiming a connection to the demon Pazuzu. Now, if you actually take the moment to look up Pazuzu, and then also look up these Labubu dolls, you will see a relatively interesting relation between them for sure. One in particular is the big exaggerated eyes, which more or less equals the all-seeing watchfulness of ancient spirits. Another is horns and fur, which echoes of demonic or hybrid beings from Mesopotamian myth. And the other, which is probably the most prominent on both Pazuzu and on these Labubu dolls, is the mischievous grins. Basically, in Mesopotamian culture and many other cultures around the world, trickster spirits or entities that blur the line between playful and dangerous tend to have a mischievous grin. Now, on top of that, of course, how can we not, mention the obvious weird connection of Labubu and Pazuzu? Like
Hmm.
that's, now I'm not one to sit here and say that that's, I don't necessarily believe that Labubu is actually a representation of Pazuzu, um, but nonetheless, there's some interesting things, and I think this is why people have been circulating various videos on this subject matter.
You also have Lamasu, which is kind of similar to Labubu, and Lamasht 2, which is also very similar to Labubu.
Right. Well, now you see one reason this could actually, one reason this could have come about is due to Carl Jung's analytical psychology theory, which proposes the mind comprises the conscious ego, basically the personal unconscious, and individual experiences in this case, right? And the collective unconscious, which is a universal respiratory repository of archetypes like the persona, shadow, anima and animus, and the self. Now, the central goal of Jungian theory is individualization, which is a process of integrating these psychic elements to achieve wholeness and develop a cohesive, authentic self, moving beyond mere conscious awareness to embrace the unconscious depths.
Now, could art and toys carry subconscious links to ancient energies? The simple answer is yes. From the perspective of Jungian or Jungian, I can't remember how it's pronounced. Psychology and mythological studies and art and toys can carry subconscious links to ancient energies. Again, you see this throughout several different genres. The links are based on the concept of archetypes, and you also see this in fictional writing as well. We always use an archetype to help us grow our story. The hero, the guide, the list goes on and on there. Universal primal patterns of thought and imagery that Carl Jung believed exist in the collective unconscious, a part of the psyche shared by all of humanity. Mm-hmm. Now, we talked about this last week with Fiona Dodwell about how many tales exist of inanimate objects that act as vessels for paranormal entities or attract strange phenomenon, like with dolls, paintings, and even jewelry being common reoccurring themes. Fiona brought this up several times. She would not just say the dolls, but she also would bring up jewelry a lot. Now, we talk about the amulets and stuff, and that's the interesting thing or about this particular topic is the fact that a entity could be attached to these things, which when you buy an amulet, you're not thinking, oh, there's going to be a demon or a spirit that's attached to it. It's just a representation to protect you.
Right.
There are other toys that have links to other ancient archetypes, such as the Muppets, believe it or not, because they are kind of a link to the trickster traits. Pokemon, they're inspired by the yokai, which is a creature or creatures and supernatural phenomenon from Japanese folklore. But one thing I do want to say about this, if you look up Pokemon and the things that they're related to, be ready for some freaking nightmares, because I cannot look at them at Pokemon after that and really look at them the same as creepy cute. They just look horrid to me in my personal opinion. And the list goes on and on. I mean, you see a lot of things from even Greek and Roman mythology that is kind of associated with creepy cute. But the real thing is these things can have some things attached to it, even especially if you get it at like a secondhand store or something like that.
Sure.
So the question really is, are the Labubu dolls just art or something even more?
Right. And that's a hard one to. It's not a hard one to say because first of all, I do truly think they're just art. First and foremost, I think they're just art, and I think if there is any um, comparison to Pazuzu, it's simply because the creator of the Labubu maybe had found inspiration in this particular entity. Um, maybe it doesn't even believe this entity exists, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's just folklore that people in Mesopotamia had made up, among many other entities that we know of, both from ancient times and modern. I don't think that this particular individual and company had created these dolls to be facetious in any way. But what I do think is happening here, which is really quite sad, is that there is a type of fear mongering happening around social media. People are taking this idea of the Labubu and comparing it to a quote unquote demon entity, which naturally strikes fear. And of course, people who are gullible enough, they're going to hear this and they're going to have concerns potentially. They're going to question whether or not they have some demon in their room attached to their doll. And that's something else that we've talked about many times over the years. Maybe these dolls, if you do happen to have one and you're noticing something weird happening, it may not have a spirit connected. It's just the energy that you're manifesting on your own. The mind is very strong and capable of doing that. So it's important to take a step back and consider where these stories are coming from, why they have been created, and who those stories are being shared with. Because a lot of these stories are being shared to people who simply are interested in entertainment and nothing more.
Well, and I mean, we've talked about this however many times it has been now about the Ouija board.
Yeah.
And that was it Hasbro or
Mm-hmm. I believe it was Hasbro.
Okay, that basically made it into a game.
Toy, yeah. Yeah.
But the one conversation I was having with Fiona last week was that how much of this is that a entity is attached to these dolls, right, and how much is it that it's a creepy looking doll, and then your mind starts playing tricks on you. We've talked about creating entities with our mind, or maybe even an entity attaching itself to the idea that you're thinking of, because that can happen too. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those things that I believe, yes, a entity could attach itself to one of these dolls. However, I'm not saying that this was the intent. I don't think it was even a hindsight that it could be somehow associated with Mesopotamian demons, because like I said at the beginning, it's based on Nordic folklore, which is a completely separate area of the world.
Right.
But I didn't see anything that said what Nordic folklore it represented, other than possibly Loki, because Loki is the trickster.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you had come across any of that at all or not.
I have not, but there are so many entities throughout the world, various belief systems and stories that are considered trickster types. And many of them look kind of similar, have these large grins on their faces. But it kind of goes from, like, I feel like the whole idea of the grin is to kind of create this, originally was create this, kind of playful yet creepy. Like it's happy and joyful, wants to have fun, but it's also dangerous and it's dark, and it can cause problems. Um, and we kind of see other figures throughout pop culture that are similar in a way. One is, of course, the Cheshire Cat. Now we know that based on um, the writings on the book itself, so some of these characters are basically supposed to be representations of various mental illnesses. But the Cheshire Cat is one of those particular characters that is kind of creepy with this giant grin, these sharp teeth, these interesting, creepy eyes that stare at you from a distance, and who can cloud himself in complete mystery by vanishing at the same time, right?
Mm.
And it kind of relays that same message, something that's playful and yet something that's mysterious and maybe should, you should probably watch out for, right? And we see that time and time again with various characters throughout all of pop culture, movies, books, TV shows, games, et cetera, et cetera. So whether or not the Labubu dolls are based on any particular entity, I don't know. Is it possibly based on a number of different stories combined? Like, is it, well, we could say it's Pazuzu, but maybe it is Pazuzu and it's also Loki and it's also this other character. But ultimately, I think it's just based on what I'm seeing, based on what I'm understanding from the research, is that these particular toys, collectibles, are nothing more than just collectibles. They don't have any sort of dangerous, hidden mystery behind them. But I do think that people will always find a way to link something innocent to something much darker.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like it's a repurposed Pazuzu statue or doll,
Right?
of any kind. In that case, I'd be like, yeah, you probably should not touch it because there could be an entity attached to it, regardless.
Right.
But yeah, I know I rolled my eyes when you told me to look it up, but
You did. You gave me kind of like a 3-word response. So like, oh, maybe we're not going to talk about this. I thought it'd be interesting, but okay.
Well, I didn't have a problem with us doing an episode on it, but it was like, are you really like? And then the day of this recording, we were supposed to be raptured or gone to the fifth dimension. I'm gonna mark myself as safe from the rapture and the fifth dimension right now. But yeah, again, things just keep getting weirder and weirder as we go through the years. And when we first started doing podcasting, I thought we had heard it all, and we haven't yet.
Right. I mean, it's 2025 and things are just, every day, every month, every year, there are stories to be told. There are prophecies that are made. There are people who want to, propagate some of these things, and again, why? What is the reason behind it? And in particular, I'm talking about the rapture. Like, what is the reason for for people discussing the rapture? We know through scripture that nobody will know the day or time of Christ's return. It's that simple. Nobody in the history of humanity will ever be able to tell us what day it's going to happen and be correct. So the fact that people every couple of years talk about it, and it creates this big widespread panic in some individuals, because mind you, there are people out there who are scared of the rapture, right? They're scared they're not going to be taken. They're scared that they are going to be taken and their loved ones won't be. There's a lot of things that people feel like they haven't completed yet in life, and they're like, I'm not ready for this. And so is it a type of fear mongering? I think so in some cases, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's for some individuals, whether whoever you are, whatever reason you believe in the rapture, I think it's a way for either you, like these people, to want to get away from reality, escape it, and hope for, to be taken away.
A better place, yeah.
A better place, right? A better place. And for others, they use it to try to force people into turning to God. And, they put that fear factor in, like the rapture's happening. If you're left behind, that's it.
Well, and isn't there like a split in Christianity of those that believe that there is going to be a rapture and those that believe that there's no such thing?
Yeah, there is a split, and it's based on a very limiting passage within Revelation. And depending on what version of the Bible you read, you can find evidence of the rapture, or you may not find evidence. And ultimately, like it's one of those things that I don't find important in a person's salvation. Like the rapture is going to happen whether you believe or don't. Um, and the main thing is that you should probably just believe, right? That's the idea. Like I'm not saying you should believe. It's called free will. God gave us all free will, y'all. So it's up to you. But the rapture is one of those things that's like when it happens, it's gonna just you're not gonna know it. It's gonna less than like shorter than a blip. Like it's just you're here and then gone, right? And the only ones left around are going to be the ones wondering like why they weren't taken. And we know that in scripture that if indeed the rapture is true, there are going to be some people left behind. Not all of them are going to be, non-believers or evil, quote unquote, evil people or whatever. Some of them are going to fight against the devil and the army, the human army, until God comes back. And again, we don't know. We don't know who's going to be included in the rapture, when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen. Right. The rapture is one of those things that, there's a split between the various branches of Christianity. But denominations, same thing. But y'all know what I mean.
And I hate to say it like this because I don't mean disrespect to anybody, but if the rapture happens, I'm left here, I'm gonna be like, oh, thank God. I don't like dealing with people. It doesn't any specific person. I'm not saying at all. It's just dealing with people in general. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I'm done. But yeah, it would be scary though to be left.
Well, yeah, 100%. I mean, you wake up and some of your closest loved ones or whatever are just gone. The good percentage of the world is gone. Like it's humanity. I mean, and it's just like. Okay, well, now there are two things that happen. One, we suddenly know the truth, right? If the rapture happens, we know there's God and we know that the scriptures are telling the truth. And on the second is that you're alone and you got to figure out what's going to happen next because there is a whole lot of stuff that happens after the rapture and it's not, unicorns and butterflies coming and visiting you. So you're visiting the earth, I should say. But yeah, it's a scary thing. Revelation in general is a very scary book, and not just for Bible believing Christians. It's also a scary book for people who study history. And I've read so many articles by atheists and non-believers who will literally say like, yeah, this is a scary book. Like when you consider it word for word and the meaning behind it, whether you believe or not, whether God is real or not, it's not good stuff. It's scary things that are happening, but all for the better outcome, which is the new heaven and the new earth when Jesus reunites with his people and finally ends sin, which means no more suffering, no more death, no more illness, et cetera, which, I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a really good thing.
I mean, both you and I have both talked vigorously about living forever. So,
yeah.
But again, what do you do with that time? Like, if you're living forever, and not that you can't always do what your heart desires, but after you've achieved everything you want to achieve, what's next if you're living forever?
Well, and that's the big thing, and I think that's the thing that scares people in particular about like heaven, and eternity, right? Because eternity it's a big word. It's meant to be. And there's been plenty of individuals who've actually asked straight up, like, what happens when I'm bored? What happens a million years from now and I've done everything? And the consistent answer is that because of God's unique and mysterious personality, the fact that he is as awesome as he is, we as people who would study him, try to learn from him, try to understand him, even in eternity, would never fully understand him. We'd still be trying to figure him out and learn his ways. And as such, because of a new heaven and new earth, there will be a grand multitude of possibilities and opportunities for people, both in our thinking, in our understanding, in things that we can do, and things that we can see, places we can go, and we will never get bored. Because it's not just new earth, right? It's not like we're, this earth here is the same earth and now it's just been renewed and it looks exactly the same. And it could be completely different, whole new layout from what we've ever experienced, and way faster. Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah, exactly. I'm sorry if you guys keep hearing a bump on my mic because I keep bumping it. I'm trying to stay a little closer to it today, and I'm not used to it.
So far, no, I haven't
Okay,
heard anything. So you're good.
Good.
But to wrap this back to the Labubu doll,
Yeah, for sure.
If the rapture happens and those Labubu dolls come to life, then 100% that demons were attached to these things, and it was all a ruse. They created these things to help take over the world.
Right. So some final questions for you guys, and we'd love to hear your answers. Be sure to reach out to us, email, Instagram, Facebook. I was going to say text, but you don't have our phone numbers. We're probably not going to give it to you guys. No offense. No offense. We love you. We just don't trust you.
Right. I wouldn't give my number out to anybody I've first met.
So, question number 1, do you own a Labubu doll or a similar doll like the Labubu? How many do you have? What is your favorite one? Let us know. We're curious. Like I said, I've got friends who collect them. My one friend, she has a bunch of little tiny ones, but she also has the 3-foot one too. I think it's
there's a 3-foot one.
Yeah, it's huge. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so she has that. Second question: have you felt any energy around object like these? Whether, and in particular, I'm thinking like new dolls, right? Or new objects. Because anything old with history behind it could have some sort of residual haunting or presence attached to it. And that's not to say it's a spirit by any means or even bad. It's just an energy, right?
Right.
So have you felt that around objects like the Labubu or any other dolls or objects? And then third, do you believe modern culture is unconsciously repeating ancient symbols? And this is one, again, where Justin had just talked about. We got the Muppets with the tricksters. We got obviously the Labubu with Pazuzu. We had Pokemon inspired by the yokai, and so on and so forth. So are we just seeing this unconscious repetition of ancient symbols coming forth in modern times?
Well, I'll give you my answers.
Yeah.
I will never own a Labubu doll, but I do own a voodoo doll. So kind of similar doll.
Yeah.
Have I ever felt energy off of the voodoo doll? No. I've never been around a Labubu doll, so I couldn't tell you. And do I believe modern culture is unconsciously repeating ancient symbols? And the answer is yes, because we've said this numerous times, both on this show and our writing show that we had done, that there isn't an original story and however you would say that, and an original story anymore. It's just adapting things that we have read, seen, heard over the years, even playing on archetypes, basing stuff on religions. So yes, I think in modern culture, until something different happens, we will always recycle old ancient symbols. What are your answers to it?
I have not seen a Labubu in person, but I have seen photos of them, plenty of them. Again, my friends, but also online. And I still don't see anything wrong with them. I just think they're creepy, cute little creatures that, people are going to have fun collecting them. They're going to have a whole little history of fun for a while until it dies off and something else replaces it, right? I do not own also a Labubu doll. I own. There's a couple things I own. Obviously, the voodoo doll. I also have which I also didn't feel any energy on, but I also may or may not have cast that energy, if there was any, off of it before I brought it in the house. And then I also have a mask, an African mask, which did have heavy negative energy on it or something that was felt by
Something attached to
multiple
it.
people. And so, yeah, that one I cleansed as well. Um, but then the closest thing that I have that I can think of that is maybe kind of like the Labubu doll, or I forget what they're called. They're like skeletons, something, or bones figures. They're like these.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like these little tiny skeleton figures that are dressed in various, outfits. I think I have a blue elephant. It's a little elephant with a skull face, but he's like the elephant is like a costume basically. And they have a ton of different guns. Like I got that one way, way, way back in 2000, and I guess it wasn't that far back. I got that one in like 2014, I think. But that was when they were kind of just becoming new. They're yet to be popularized, and now everywhere I go, I'm seeing these little guys. And I'm like, oh, there's so many different kinds. I kind of want to collect them, but they're also getting expensive because inflation. Dang it.
And last,
Yeah, I mean, yes. The answer is just yes. I do believe that modern culture will unconsciously repeat ancient symbols. It's kind of in our DNA, and the I think just the artistic expression of some of those ancient symbols still ring true today. They still feed imagination to people. We still see a lot of we see a lot in them like that. Whether whatever that is that you see, they definitely have their place, and they'll continue to show up.
yeah. Well, and I have nothing against Labubu dolls. I would never collect them. Mostly because I collect enough and I don't need something else to collect.
2 weeks from now, he's gonna say, "Guys, I got a Labubu doll." He's gonna
Only if somebody has sent me one or gifted me one. So if you want to send us a Labubu doll, you can send it to P.O. Box 1234 in Idaho, Missouri, Montana at 12356. We did do a poll for this episode, and the answers are kind of a mix.
Okay.
We had one person that stated that absolutely that they think modern toys can carry ancient spiritual symbolism. Two people said sometimes. Nobody said just art, and we had one other person say not sure, but it's interesting to think about. So again, on top of those other questions, we would love to hear your answers to the poll too. So make sure that'll be up, on our social medias throughout recorded history of the show. So, any final thoughts?
Not on the subject matter. No, not on the topic.
I'll just say, don't be scared of
Yes.
things that are out there.
Thanks.
On top of, let's say these things were based on Mesopotamian demons or spirits, fear only feeds these negative or malevolent entities anyways. So don't let fear get in the way of just enjoying these dolls. Yes, they're creepy cute. I think they're creepy cute, but I would never own one. As I mentioned,
he keeps saying it. He's trying to convince himself, I guess, because I don't know who else he's trying to convince.
Maybe. But yeah, don't fear anything that is, especially in pop culture.
Okay.
With the with Halloween season coming up, we're already getting into people going to be scared from going to haunted houses and stuff like that. So no reason to add to it. Right. Next week is going to be a really interesting episode. We're going to be discussing how the Simpsons have predicted things in the future or current past And it'll be a pretty interesting episode. We might have a couple extra guest co-hosts with us to have a roundtable discussion with, which will be awesome. And it's going stuff just keeps going around in my head about this one because again, my wife and I just talked about it this morning about how accurate this satire comedy show has got things right. And even actually a guy that I follow on TikTok had done a satirical thing about a certain individual that's in the government right now, linking Tylenol to autism. And the guy hadn't even come out with it yet. He was just joking, and all of a sudden it happened. Did he see the TikTok? I doubt it. But so yeah, make sure you check that out. We got a lot of great episodes coming up for the spooky season. And then yeah, nothing for about a month as far as topical stuff that we usually do. And then we're into Christmas and the year's over.
Wild. It just started.
Yeah. I feel that way every year, and every year it feels like it's just getting faster.
As it is, man. The older you get, the more used to time you are, and it's just everything speeds up.
That's probably one part of it. The other part of it, you've mentioned it before, the Earth is speeding up rotationally speaking. And yeah, concept of time is an interesting thing.
It is.
All right.
Another topic for another time.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to definitely recover or redo that one.
That might be our longest or shortest episode ever because we don't know how time is working right now. It could move fast. It could move slow. It could be both at the same time.
Right. All right, folks. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, wherever you listen, comment, join the discussion on all of our social medias. We'd love to hear from you all. Until next week, where you will find us same time, same channel. My name is Justin.
And I'm Eric. Peace.